It hurts to win. That's a concept or a statement that came about when we were wrestling a match at Iowa State University, my alma mater. And during that match, we got beat pretty bad. We won one match. And so after the match, I was out visiting with alumni and former friends from Iowa State. That's where I went to college at. And so after visiting, I went into the locker room, and my assistant coach was in the locker room, and he was pretty much reaming the guys out because they didn't really put forth the effort that they needed to put forth in order to do better in that particular match. And so I ended up in the locker room, and Sean Gray, my assistant coach at the time, he said to me, he says, "Coach, what did you think about that match?" So I said, "No one wanted to hurt. It hurts to win." And when I said that, I noticed that it's kind of like light bulbs went off around the room. And one of my captains spoke up, and he says, "Coach, you're right. We didn't want to hurt." And so what that concept speaks to is the fact that you have to anticipate that you're going to be in a war in some competitions. You're going to really be tested. And what that concept means, what that saying means, is that you have to anticipate the hurt. And so if you can anticipate that it may take everything that you have to win, if you can anticipate that, that means that you're more prepared to deal with it. If you're anticipating that and your opponent is not anticipating that this guy's going to come at me with everything he has, then you're going to be in a better position to defeat that particular opponent. And so that's where that saying came from. And what I found over time, especially leading into the next year, was that became one of the most powerful statements that I've ever used to motivate my athletes. In fact, they felt so strongly about it that they wrote that statement up in the wrestling room at Boston University. And during the summer, we had a summer wrestling camp, and that's pretty much all we talked about, or was the theme of the summer. It hurts to win. And so they really bought into that concept. So lo and behold, Iowa State returns the match to Boston University the next year. And truth be told, we're not even supposed to be in the same room with Iowa State. 7-time national champions, one of the most renowned wrestling programs in the country. But they had bought into that concept, so much so that they really felt that they could beat Iowa State. And remember, we won one match a year prior. So when that match was over, we had defeated Iowa State 21-16. And I think it was based in large part on that concept. In fact, for all of the matches and competitions that we had after that, that concept was adhered to and used whenever my guys were in tough competition. And I would just say, hey, it hurts to win. And they would go to a whole new level. So I feel very strongly about the power of that concept. It hurts to win. And I think if athletes understand that concept, they're going to be able to kick it to another level instantaneously.